like I said earlier, compliments of the season. We were just discussing about this report from the Punch newspaper this morning, talking about the new, not so new terrorist group Lakurawa and Nigeria and neighboring countries taking the offensive, against this new terrorist group. We have Nigeria, Chad, Niger, holding joint military operations. What are your thoughts? What are your aspirations? What are your hopes? Do you see this being nipped in the bud, not just for this new terrorist group, but the existing ones?
The acronym for team, they said together everyone achieve more. You understand? So if we come together to unite and to fight a common cause or a common enemy, our victory is always, as far as we put it, is always assured. It's a good thing, it's a good development. Initially, there's this nurture of, I am the giant of Africa, or this is my strength, I want to operate in isolation, I can take care of my own problem. But when you synergize, you'll be surprised the kind of achievement that you can make, collaboration. You understand what I'm talking about? So for them to come together, Nigeria, Niger, and other nations, to fight a common territory, Yoruba will say, if you don't take care of a problem, when it raises its head, immediately, if you leave it for some time, it's going to degenerate to something big that may be choking you in the neck. So it's a good one, and I think they are going to inflict so much injury or defeat to the new terrorist group and other terrorist groups that have been existent.
On the front page of the Vanguard, yes, there's this headline that also says, any threat to Nigeria's security, internal or external, will face justice. This is coming from the National Security Advisor, Nasir El-Rufai. Do you think that kind of statement is too ambitious, considering the security challenges we're facing right now?
No, it's not too ambitious. I think what he's trying to say is that regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your religion background or your status in the society, if you have found one thing, you'll be dealt with according to the dictate of law. So many times we have two types of law in Nigeria, one meant for the elite and one meant for the common man. You'll be surprised that a common man that stole something worth of 5,000 or something, stealing is stealing anyway.
Yeah.
They will ask you, such an individual will be sentenced to 5 years, 3 years imprisonment, etc., etc. For someone who uses pen, to falsify record or embezzle billions of naira, and you'll be hearing something like a plea bargain. You understand? So, but if they can stand on their feet, that the Constitution or the law is meant for everybody, regardless of your status or political affiliation, you mess up with the law will take care of it. So I think that's what it's trying to say, especially when we have security challenges that we need to deal with, so that we can boost the confidence of investor or will be investor in Nigeria. So anybody that's caught, or give them fair hearing. If they have been found wanting, let them face the music.
Do you support this repentant Boko Haram, repentant terrorist scheme, or what will I call it?
Yeah.
Do you support that terrorists should be reintegrated back into the society?
Yes, but it takes time. Just like what is obtainable in the prison. You understand? You don't go there just to be kept in isolation, but there's what they call reform. You want to learn carpentry, barbing. In fact, I even heard in some of our correctional, they call it correctional center now, where some of them even, write NECO or JAMB exam, so that when you come back into the mainstream society, you don't become a nuisance. And if you, whatever program to reintegrate them into the society, as much as they are also giving them some information, how do you guys operate? How can we identify terrorists? Where are your hideouts? I'm sure they must have provided some information, because regardless of what they did, they also have access to, to a lawyer who will stand to defend them or to plead on their behalf. And they do it in advance. So they say, give us information. will be lenient with the punishment that we are going to give to you, or we are going to, based on how important the information you share, will determine whether we are going to, reintegrate you back into the society, or we just ask you, instead of doing 30 years, you do 5 years, or you do. So there are so many ways. But if there's a program to reintegrate somebody who have been brainwashed back into the society, I support it 100%. Because it's not happening to us, that does not mean that we should criticize it.
Absolutely. Earlier on you talked about how it looks like the law is double-edged. Like there is one for the elite and one for the poor man. You talked about plea bargain for the rich, and then you talk about the poor man who stole a pen and they are giving him the capital punishment. Let's talk about, along that lines, let's talk about this headline on the front page of the Daily Trust. Yeah? The rich and the poor. It says tax reform bills increase tax on the rich, Don tells a federal government. So this is saying, okay, since there are people who are very rich, people who are very poor, increase the tax that the rich people pay and let the poor person pay lesser. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. It's also done in advanced country. I agree. You have so much, you don't pay little, and that's why, just like what's it called, even in a business partnership, whatever you contribute, based on, if you have higher contribution of capital contribution, you get most of the profit. So if you are making so much, I think you should pay more of tax. But the way I want the government to look at it is that they can come up with an initiative. If your taxes is above, for example, you are an institution or you are a private organization, your taxes is above, for example, let's say 100 million. Please use 30 million for CSR, corporate social responsibility, within where you operate or for your host community. Because I've had a story of oil company who have been drilling oil in a particular location for over 15 years. And those communities, they don't have light, they don't have healthcare, so, primary healthcare facility. And this oil facility, they have 24 hours power supply. What does it take to power a village? You understand what I'm saying? So the government can come up with the tax, because some people, they have a notion, if you pay the tax, government does not use it. But so far you are operating, if your tax, just like they do band A, band B, they try to categorize it. If you are operating, or the kind of tax you pay is in band A, use 20%, and you must give account. This is what we use for the host community, creating jobs, or the skill acquisition center, or giving them bursary to ease their payment in school, etc., etc. So that, or it might be tax holiday. If you are paying so much in December or first in January, you can increase the payment of what you pay to your staff or to your workers, so that, but that period of time will give you, instead of you paying 100%, the government give you opportunity to just do 50%, that they are okay, so that the citizen or the company, your workforce, they can enjoy the benefit of that tax compensation. So I believe they should pay more because they earn more.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
All right, so let's do some foreign stories. Let's take some foreign stories. This has to do with Trump. He says Trump plans mass deportation and end to birthright citizenship. This is one of the many fears people had, especially Nigerians, about the coming in of the new president, Donald Trump. What's your thought about this?
First and foremost, you can't tell a man how to rule his own family. So if Trump said that this is what I'm going, and he's been an advocate for that, even before he left the last time, that some people, they will just come, they will give birth and all of that. I know an individual, a prominent person, he went to the US and he gave birth there, I think, to himself. So now he wanted to go, and he was banned that he didn't report himself to the consular that he was coming with his wife to come and give birth. So he wanted to justify that, hey, my wife was pregnant, it was heavy, there's an emergency, I had to pay. Nigeria, we are very good in coming up with some excuse just to justify our deed. But regardless, if it is what will benefit the American, remember, it's American first. So whether you are from neighboring country, Mexico, or you are from Africa, or in Nigeria or Ghana, If he says that's what is better for that make America great again, so be it. It's their country. You can't tell them how to rule their country.
That's a very good answer. In fact, that's why the Americans voted for him. Let me draw your attention to this story, though, since we are talking about stories from, outside Nigeria. On the front page of the Punch, it says, Syrian rebels oust Assad and 60-year family rule. This has been raging for years. It is over now. But are you apprehensive? Do you think this will become another Libyan war or Libya saga?
There's always collateral damage when it comes to civil revolution or war, or as it may. Yoruba had an before I joined this, before I jumped on the show this morning, I was looking for English translation of an adage. Maybe Mr. Olumide will help me. There's something that make people to respect you so much. If care is not taken, you will do such a thing and you'll be disgraced out of office when it becoming too much. How can you imagine? Are they telling me they are the most intelligent in that nation, or they are the most exposed? But because they manipulate the system, they manipulate the power, they shut down the opposition. I know one day, it's definitely going to come to an end. Even if there's nothing that has a beginning that does not have an end. So, it's a good one for them if they feel that number one is an insult, to the people of Syria, that for 60 years, just one family, when it's not they are not operating a monarchical system of government, that we know that is only king that rule, or who presided over the throne must come from the lineage of the queen or the king. So in as much as they are tired of the whole system, and I listened briefly to some of the speech of the rebel who said that they are going to conduct an election and hand over power to, that's show excitement, not that you hijack power just for me to stay there. So let's see that it play out like that.
Okay.
All right. So we have some internal cracks in the NLC. You have failed workers. Labor group flees NLC and TUC. It's not looking good for the union right about now if they're having this kind of internal wrangling, people saying that you have failed workers. But what are your thoughts? Do you think NLC has lived up to the expectations of the common man?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. To me, I will give them 4/10. Because it's the same issue. They will come up tomorrow. It's the same issue. They will come up 2 days after. It's still the same issue that I've been fighting in the last 5 years. I think they can do more than that. They should think out of the box and, come up with a plan that can be sustainable, maybe for the next 10 years. Even if you are doing this in the next 3 years, worker salary should be increased, maybe 20%, because we know in this nation, things goes up every now and then, so that to complement. Not that one day you just wake up and say, no, there should be a framework. If you don't plan, it just, most of us in Nigeria, or most of these organizations, their own plan is immediate. What we can do now, what can we do to remedy this situation? So what about after now, in the next 6 months, what are we looking at? What is going to be the price of a commodity? What is going to be the price of house rent? And like I said, that it should be state-based. You understand? Tell your leader in each state, engage them, how much they generate. Even if they hide some things, at least what comes in from the federal allocation, what comes in from foreign donor or foreign government intervention program. You can even make a projection based on that. You know how many workers in that state. If you're a worker, you are working for government, register and all of that, database. Those are the things they should be doing. When they lead that, when they champion that cause, government will want to sit right. But if you are just, it's only when they increase petrol station, that's when you go out and say it's either they bring it back or they increase salary. They should be futuristic and forward thinking.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Futuristic, forward thinking. I mean, you said 4/10. That's not that's not a good mark at all. But then again, it would be remiss of us to talk about the U.S., to talk about Syria, and not talk about our neighbor right here, Ghana. So I draw your attention as we wrap this up now to this story on the front page of the Vanguard. You have it all over the national dailies, really. But it says Tinubu hails Mahama after Ghana's presidential poll win. This is another major comeback for Mahama, who had tried 3 times after he was president once upon a time. What's your take on this, though?
Yeah, number one, don't give up.
Yeah.
You can continue to fight if you think to me, he did his bit, but as at that time, maybe his bit was not good enough for the Ghanaians. And now maybe the current administration, based on what they are, I love when democracy thrives. That is not just is this party that will say I'll be in power for 60 years or 70 years. If you are performing well, it will show at the poll. If you are not doing well, it will also show at the poll. It's a beauty for democracy, and congratulations to him. I was even saying, somebody sent me a message. He said, hope you are in Ghana now. Because I'm so much happy to him. He's a close friend of one of my mentors, who I believe that through that my mentors have been able to see a lot of things that he did in Ghana, and he's continuing to be a Pan-Africanist. Among all the former presidents in Ghana, you see this man in Nigeria, you see him in Liberia, you see him in Togo, just to connect, to move around, despite the fact that he's no longer president. So he's still there, not just someone that after you lost election, you just relapse to your defeat. So it's a good comeback for him, and I think he's going to do better than what he did during his first tenure.
And then there's something also I want you to address quickly. His major opposition actually immediately considered defeat. They are not dragging this thing out in court and all of that. Do you think Nigeria should begin to take a cue from our neighbors?
Yes, it's long overdue. It's long overdue, where it started with the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. Even before the final result was read out, he called former President Buhari and said, congratulations. That's the spirit of democracy. In a race, when somebody must win, and the ability to admit defeat. But sometimes our judiciary, they will cook so many things, where not all of them, some people in, judiciary system, of course, the lawyer, you can challenge this, there's an infraction in this, we must fight to the end of, you must go to electoral tribunal, go to this, go to that. It's just obvious, and for the interest of peace and let the nation move on. So once a president emerges, let everybody come together and let's move forward the nation. You must think of being a Ghanaian before you mention your party, or you must think of being a Nigerian before you become a PDP or APC or Labour Party card-carrying member. So the nation first. Yeah. So I think it's a good one, and not just for Nigeria, for other African countries as well.
All right, still talking about this statement made by INEC is what I would like to ask you. It says, Ghana's electoral process inspired by Nigeria. This is coming from the Independent National Electoral Commission. In less than a minute, what do you have to say about this? Do you think that we inspired Ghana?
That statement is different from Balabu.
I'm telling you.
What I'm saying, everybody loves good things. Yeah. Everybody wants to associate with good things. So even if they might provide some technical support, they might provide something, but now be claiming glory. It's the different thing. You have a system and you make it to work. It's another thing you didn't allow it to work. So what are we talking about? Yeah. So kudos to Ghana. Everybody, they said if you marry a beautiful wife, if you befriend a beautiful girl, everybody will be a relative, because they will know him. One brother will know him from somewhere. One brother, everybody will be claiming they want to have a part of such an individual. Yeah. So that's just it. So what our INEC is saying, they saw something good and they want to associate themselves with it. Yeah. It's okay for them. Yeah. It's good to aspire,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Adeniyi Ifetayo. It's been a wonderful time with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome.
Yeah.